Hi, this was supposed to be a crafting video. I filmed a craft with me like 2 weeks ago and then I just hadn't gotten around to editing it, and I happened to go to the thrift store in that time frame. So now this video is a thrift and craft with me. I hope that's okay. There is a formal event coming up in the family, so we went to the thrift to find formal wear. My husband found exactly what he needed. He found a whole jacket, he found pants, and he found dress shoes. The shoes were like $3. It was insane, but he got really lucky with that. I did not find a dress that I liked, which was pretty sad. But while he was trying on his suit, I saw so many cute things where people put things back, and yeah, I just needed to show you. So the first thing I saw while he was trying on his stuff was this skirt. And I don't think you can really tell in this lighting just how beautiful it is. Here's the back, let me show you the back. It has these really cool pocket details. It's like a gray denim. I love gray denim. And then I love like this patch with the embroidery. There's just a lot of details on this. Like, even the way the belt loops are sewn on are kind of different and unique. This button, I don't know that this button came on it, but it's really unique and I think adds character. It's by the brand Jolt, and I love this little like ruffly trim because it's a whole different fabric. So this is more of like a thick cotton, and then the top is like a cotton denim. It's really nice. I am pretty happy about this. I wore it yesterday and it was really cute. Normally I don't like this kind of skirt at all, but this one, I don't know, something about it feels right. The next thing I found kind of in a similar way. He was trying things on and I just like out of the corner of my eye saw it. Like maybe somebody put it back, maybe it just happened to be stocked near the mirror, but it is this gray cardigan and I just knew, like you can kind of tell when you look at a knit. I think what I've nailed it down to is the stitching is a little bit more loose, and the yarn is not one color, it's like kind of multicolored. I feel like that's something a little bit more unique to the 2000s. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just feel like maybe nowadays more of knit pieces, it's just a solid colored yarn. This is by the brand So I think it's like Kohl's or Macy's or one of those. In my head I was like, this cardigan with like with a simple top and then this little skirt, like I don't know. The same thing actually happened to my husband. He was sifting through the jackets. He could see on the other side of the rack were these pants, and they are dirt bike pants. He rides pretty regularly and they're his size and they match one of his helmets. And his other dirt bike pants are the exact same brand, they're just a different colorway. So like this is his ideal dirt bike pant. And they were $10. Normally dirt bike pants are like brand new, like $70 to $100. So $10, but they're pretty cool. I like them. I would wear them. He was so happy about that find, and I was so happy for him. He doesn't really like thrifting, but when we do go, he always finds things he really likes. So I'm like. The next thing I found was actually this top. I saw it in passing. I was literally walking by. I've actually thrifted this exact same shirt before, but it was like way too baggy, and I have several baggy plaid button-ups, so I didn't need it, ended up selling it. So I knew exactly what this shirt was the moment I saw it, and I was like, no way, it's in a smaller size. So yeah, I had to pick it up. I learned last night or this morning, I don't remember, that this pattern is not called plaid, it's called buffalo check, which makes sense to me because it's a little bit different than plaid. And I actually like wearing this one buttoned up. Normally I wear them unbuttoned with like a shirt under or a lace cami under, but this one I actually like buttoned up. So would you believe me if I told you literally everything I got in this haul? I didn't even have to sift through the racks for, like I just saw it in passing. Insane. Total insanity. Sure. wish you could see this in person, because then you would be like, ah yes, they don't make them like this anymore. But this is by the brand Fashion Exit, and kind of like a striping detail. You can definitely see it more in the light, and there's like ruching all throughout it. And I was like, this is either gonna look really frumpy or it's gonna look really good. I think it adds a lot of visual interest for a black piece, and the buttons are like really nice. They're kind of like a dressier type of button, so that's really cool. I had a black button up and I wore it in my Diary of an Emo Skater Girl video. I really like that video. It's one of my favorites. I wore it with my blue and black striped tie, and that outfit was so sick, but that shirt was like super tight on me. So I'm really happy that I have one that fits me. The last thing I got is another button up, and I just couldn't pass up the gray and black stripes. Look at this. It's so satisfying to me, and I can just tell that is the cotton that I like. It's by the brand Susie Rose. It's a cute little Y2K tag. Really cute, and it's pretty big. Should I stack it? This kind of reminds me of like a hairdresser's shirt, you know, but I thought it would look really cool. Normally when there's a button right here, it's meant to be worn rolled up, but I thought it would look really cool with like a lace cami under. I know it looks crazy right now because I have button up on button up. There's a vision, okay, for sure, and if not, I really like the fabric. I hope you enjoyed that little haul because I'm just so excited about it. This is already my second time wearing this shirt this week, so. Diesel, what the heck? I also forgot to show you that we went to the pawn shop yesterday and they had DVDs for $1, and I was so stoked to find this one because I've been wanting it on DVD. It's one of my favorite superhero movies, but I don't want to have to rent it every time I want to watch it or figure out which streaming platform. Like, I literally hate that whole mess. Like, I just would rather have all my very favorite movies on DVD. I'm pretty selective about it. I don't want to have like a horde of physical, you know, DVDs, but if it's one of my favorites, like this one is, I love me some emo Batman. I think Robert Pattinson did a great job, and Nirvana's on the soundtrack. Anyways, yeah, so it was $1, and so I was gonna go and check out, and then the manager said that we could just have it on him. So got a free DVD, one of my favorites. I thought that was a pretty cool like secondhand thrift find. What do you think, Noodles? Hi, I ran out of Monster Peachy Keens. How are we supposed to live? How are we supposed to survive? Oh, I love him! I am surrounded by so many craft supplies. Today we are going to be making a star garland. This is more of a like process video than a like direct tutorial because I feel like it's pretty straightforward. I have an assortment of beautiful gray ribbons. I have like a velvet, a lace, a chiffon. So beautiful. Oh, I even have like this little tulle one. Yeah, see? I can't tell if this is pink or white. It kind of looks white on camera, but in person there's like a little bit of a pink hue. So I actually want it to go right here next to my little felt Rigby. I kind of forgot I had this. It's gonna match perfectly. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Yes. I get kind of conflicted because I feel like if I fill all the wall space, it's gonna look really cluttered. But at the same time, there's this empty space here, and I think it would look really cute with a star garland. So I'm actually gonna get started, I think, before I just keep talking forever. The felt I have is literally just like neutrals. I have 2 white, 2 this like beautiful beige, 2, oh, I just love gray, and then 2 black. And then these are like the fabrics I picked. I was kind of back and forth, like, do I want to just do felt stars like in those colors, or do I want to use like the fabric I have? But a lot of these fabrics are really special. I picked them out with my suegro. he needed fabric for me to repair his couch, so we went fabric shopping together, just me and him, and I picked out all of these from this like really beautiful like quilt shop, and I just love, like, they're just so special to me. I don't have too much of them, so I kind of want to make sure I am using them sparingly. I love these. I used these in my like Twilight pouch drop, so that's why I kind of only have a teensy bit left, but I think they came out really cute, like the pouches with them. Look, see, like this is I don't have too much of this one left, but I really like that fabric. And then this one is from Walmart, but the rest of them are from the quilting fabric store. And see, they'll match Rigby perfectly. And then I have this one that is actually the excess I cut off of a shirt. I think that's as good as we're gonna get. My desk is a mess, oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that's fine. In doing research, I can actually show you on my phone since I'm not recording on it. In doing research for this project, I saw a lot of really cool like ideas on Pinterest, and there's a lot on Etsy too. So here's kind of what I saw on Pinterest. You could do like varying sizes. You could do where they like fall down. I love the way that looks. I have like the fairy lights behind my bed, and they kind of like do the falling thing, and I think that's really nice, and I think I'm going to get some to put on this wall. And then, oh, here's one where kind of goes gradually down. I think that's really cool. And those are just the star ones. If you look up felt garland on Pinterest, you will see so many things, and on Etsy too, there is quite a lot of really, I don't know, I talked in my last video a little bit about how I think like doing the art trends is really fun. How am I sewing stuff in here? I'm going to get this and probably my pins. I've been making felt plushies since I was like super duper little. I made this one as a kid, and I used it as like to store my needles for a very long time. I recently took it out because I just wanted to like have the plushie as is, and this was from a Tammy Hallam tutorial probably like 10-14 years ago. I guess I'll take both scissors out actually. I love me some good fabric scissors. When I use fabric as a patch, I usually put heat and bond. I line. This one is sewable, and it says it's great for lightweight fabrics, machine appliques, and quilting. So anytime I want to do like a screen printed patch or anything of that sort, and I don't really want the fabric to fray too easily, it's not perfect, I will use this. And I will also use fray check. I'm actually going to cut out 8 squares that are like around this size so I could iron them onto the fabric. You'll kind of see the purpose as I keep going. I'm not very good at explaining, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to put my little ironing towel down, and then I'm going to get each piece of fabric, and I'm gonna iron the like sticky side onto the back. So I'm kind of making them into stickers. I think the word I was looking for earlier is to help stabilize and seal and secure your fabric patches, fabric applique, if you will. So I'm just gonna go ahead and iron these on. Where I was going earlier with the whole felt thing is that a couple years ago when I started selling Star Bears again, I was making them out of cotton, and I really do like that quality, but in order to use cotton, there was a lot more steps involved. I had to kind of make appliques to do the stars and the little circles on the face, and then I had to assemble the whole thing by machine, and I really just didn't enjoy that process too much. Like, it really hurt my hands to kind of have to flip everything inside out, and it was just really time consuming to pull out my iron and all that, when I feel like felt is just so much more efficient, and it looks very like cutesy and handmade. And so I tried making one star bear out of felt, but I just felt like the girlies didn't get it back then. I feel felt was still very much looked at as like a child's craft supply, and I mean it technically is. I think fleece has always been a better alternative to felt. Oh, but yeah, so I think it's really cool seeing right now. I've seen a lot of like the artsy creative girls on YouTube and on Pinterest and like on Instagram making felt crafts. I don't know, now the internet seems to appreciate felt crafts again, and I think that's really beautiful. Whilst felt is not the most like durable of supplies, I think it's the like kind of heart that goes into felt crafts. I think that makes them really special. I've always sewn my felt crafts together, but if you don't know how to sew, you can also glue them. So I feel like it's a little bit more accessible to people than like full-on fabric crafts. I mean, you could glue fabric too, but there's no structure to fabric unless you kind of do something like this and you put an interfacing or what have you, the heat and bonds. I love heat and bonds. If you want to make fabric more stiff, then you would use this one, feasible interfacing. I use this in all my pouches. It makes them really stiff. Okay, so now I have my fabric stickers, or patches if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and normally if I'm gonna make shapes like in the star bears where I would do like a star or the mouth, I would actually just use a pen and draw on this kind of like parchment paper. It's so much easier to use a pen and draw the pattern on parchment paper than it is to use a marker on felt. That it's a nightmare, honestly, and kind of a back and forth. But I feel like felt interacts in a certain way. The whole point of me even adding felt and not just using these is because I wanted to behave like felt, you know? So I'm honestly just gonna go ahead and iron it on. I'm so excited. Okay, so I think this one's gonna have a black back, tan. Do you see how like the fabric has that like shiny adhesive? And I'm just gonna go ahead and iron it on.
That hurts. You done that before?
What?
Take up mid-feet.
No.
Oh, it hurts bad. Feels like somebody's like to deal with nothing.
This is very satisfying to me for some reason. I did the tan and white ones first, and I was like, oh no, it's giving sad beige mom. But then I did all the black ones, and now it's giving sad emo girl. Also, theoretically, this could be reversible if I want the plain stars, or I could have the patterns, or I could even switch, I don't know, I could even switch them out. I've been keeping all my felt in my half cabs box, and it's overflowing now. For the sewing part, you could use embroidery floss if you want. I find that's what a lot of people are doing right now. I grew up making my felt plushies with normal thread, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. I love this thread. It's so beautiful. It's like a taupe color. It's so pretty. I'm gonna just do a blanket stitch all the way around. So to do that, you have like a sandwich for the first one. I send it through one, and then I just send it around through both layers, and you pull almost all the way, and then you're gonna have like a little loop, and you're just gonna put it through the loop, and you're just gonna keep going. I do have a like sewing, a hand sewing tutorial where I kind of show lots of stitches in more depth with a better like angle, or at least I tried to, and I teach how to make a pusheen plushie. That was really fun. Did you watch the new Wednesday season? And if so, what did you think? I feel like it's a very controversial show. And not because of like any of the content. Okay, well, I guess yes, the content, but controversial not in like a political or socio-economical controversy, but in a just some people hated it and think it's a terrible Addams Family story. But my thing is, I mean, your feelings are valid, and if you hate it, but I was under the impression, you know, everybody's talking about how like the Addams Family is supposed to like be very like loving and close-knit or whatever. But the thing is that Wednesday is a teenager now, you know, like in most of the Addams Family stuff, she's a little girl, and as a little girl, you don't really question your parents that much. And then when you become a teenager, you start questioning everything to the point where I feel like it strains your relationship with them. So I feel like as sad as it is, it's just like kind of a part of growing up, and then hopefully you get a little older and you kind of learn to be a bit more understanding and respect each other as adults, hopefully. And yeah, I also think it's funny because if it was really that bad, why did you finish it? Because I've seen some pretty bad shows, I never finished them. I think the point of a show or a movie is to entertain, and if it did that, if it entertained you enough to finish it, it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, maybe it was bad and that's why it was entertaining, I don't know. You were like hate watching. I didn't think like it was perfect, like the acting wasn't perfect, some of the writing wasn't perfect, but like we're humans, it's a show made by humans, so like I think it's a really cool show in the sense that I feel represented, I guess, in a way. Like Jenna Ortega is like Hispanic, you know, and like all the actors, most of the actors I think for the Addams Family in this show are all Hispanic, and she has long dark hair, and she plays cello. I played cello in high school, and she has color aversion, and you know, maybe she feels a little weird and stuff. When I was in school, I definitely had a hard time making friends outside of my skater friends. I think skaters are some of like the most open-minded people you'll ever meet, typically. Not always, but typically. And so I feel really connected to Wednesday in that sense. Like I know she has a lot of darkness to her and practices things that I don't think are okay. And she makes a lot of choices that I don't think are okay, but she's human and we're different humans and we're gonna make different choices. But those things I listed earlier, like it's so heartwarming and nice to feel represented. I think it's really cool. I feel like I don't see too many leads with young Hispanics with long dark hair that have color aversion. I at least like browns and grays. She's more of a black and white type of person. Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I also like Enid's claws. I think they're really funny, but like in a cutesy kind of way. I don't know. I think it's a nice touch. I watched a couple videos on like composer, I guess, for the show, the guy who makes music, and hearing his thought process was really cool. And I also watched a lot of videos or interviews with Colleen Atwood. She designed the costumes for Wednesday and also both Beetlejuice movies and Alice. I loved Tim Burton's Alice movie. I love it so much. Those dresses were beautiful. I have my little cloud. I used to be a substitute teacher. I'm not anymore because the kids ate me alive. But one of the teachers in her classroom, I loved seeing how teachers decorated their classrooms. It was so cute. One of the teachers, she had a whole bunch of stuffing like hanging from her ceiling so to look like clouds. I thought that was so cute. Hi, hello. It is the next day. It took me a very long time, but I have assembled all of the stars. Just like throwing them on my laptop. Oh, I forgot to mention too, maybe like probably like 8 years ago now, maybe 9, I don't know, in my bedroom at my mom's house I had gold stars and I had taped them to clear like jewelry string. I don't really know where I got the idea. Maybe like baby mobiles I think are really sweet, and so I got wooden stars, painted them gold. I taped them to clear jewelry wire, and then I had them all kind of hanging above my bed in like this one little like corner circle, kind of like a baby mobile. And I used to love, like when I was on the phone or on FaceTime or something, or just, you know, sitting in bed, whatever, I would kind of just flick them and they would spin. These are silver paper and they do spin, but not as much as the wood did. I think the wood was just a lot heavier. You want to say hi to them again? I swear he literally just wanted to say hi. So I was kind of looking at my like ribbon options, and I think honestly any one of these would be fine, but the one that really speaks to me is this chiffon. I don't have very much of it. That is kind of a bummer. I swear the ribbon at Michael's is so expensive and you don't even get a lot of it. I like it a lot. I also want to see, I kind of like the idea of, yeah, like them kind of behind, you know, not hanging below. You could do that too. I don't know. I don't think it matters that much. I'm just gonna sew them on. This is so fun. Oh my goodness. I have 2 left. Last night I was kind of bored. I was going through my Spotify. I've had my Spotify since like I don't know, maybe 2014, maybe earlier, I don't know, but for sure 2013, 2014. And so I was kind of going through like my very first playlist on Spotify, and it's like a giant 10-hour playlist. Well, maybe that's not giant for some people. I know some people don't do like multiple smaller playlists, but for me that's one of my longer ones. And I was just kind of shuffling through it and I'm like, this stuff is so vibey. Like, yes, that was really, really fun. So if you have playlists that you haven't heard in a while, like 10 years a while, I think it's worth a shot to go back and listen. It's very like fascinating. I feel like, you know, you learn a lot about your past self that way, and you can like reflect on the feelings you had originally when you listened to those songs versus now. But my very first playlist was just Kanye West and Katy Perry. I called it Candyfornia. But the second one right after that, it was called Alt 1 Ashes of Care, because I was an angsty middle schooler. Yeah, it's like super duper vibey indie alternative. I find it so fascinating when people tell me that they aren't music people, because, you know, humans are just, we're all so different. But like growing up, I really think it was a big part of my life. My dad, I remember him always showing me music videos and covers and stuff like that. So nowadays I really appreciate like the artistry and the vision behind like the full thing, you know, like the song and how it's put together and the instruments that go into that and the music video and the concepts and stuff. I don't know. We're done. This would be a good Christmas tree decoration. Let me know what you think. See you later, Profist.